You guys missed it. He was meowing and talking to me. But the minute I turned on the camera, he got quiet. Wow, there he is. Show everybody how pretty you are. All right, ready to go? Give me a kiss. Okay, off you go. Okay, friends, there is our daily dose of Harlow. That cat makes me happy. It makes me feel good. I know, baby. He's looking for chicken. It's his favorite thing, and I usually keep a bowl in the fridge of cooked chicken, but it ran out yesterday, so he's looking for some more. So how are you guys doing today? So it's Wednesday for me, someday in March. I just filmed a whole video, about a half an hour's worth of footage, that I decided to scrap because I found myself talking to the people in the comments who are only passing through and all the questions that they have because they're not watching all the videos before and they don't watch all the videos after. And I found myself answering all their questions, and I wasn't happy with the video. It's interrupting my creative flow. So my husband's working from home today. I turned the camera off. He's sitting on the couch with his laptop, and put my head in his lap and be like, oh, woe is me, you know, and then talking about how I deal with things and how I should be doing my videos, because that's exactly what they are. They are my videos on my YouTube channel about my journey with crocheting. So I'm allowed to do whatever I want, and I don't have to answer all the questions of the people in the comments who are only passing through, because in the analytics behind the scenes on YouTube tells me that 79% of you are not subscribed to my channel. 79%, which is great that people are watching my videos, that YouTube is promoting them, but they're only watching one video out of 10. And we're doing a whole series of videos about patchwork squares. So hello to everybody who is new here. My name is Jenny. Welcome to Granny Square Peg. Right now, we are in the middle of making patchwork squares. Patchwork squares made with variegated yarn. Variegated yarn that we all buy and we all love because of the colors, but they don't always work out in projects that we want to make them with, and because the yarn is so busy with color that the pattern gets lost. So right now, we're in the middle of making patchwork squares. It's a square I designed myself, and we are working on them from March 1st to October 31st. And in November, we're going to stitch them together and make a blanket. This is what my original blanket looks like. It is lap size, throw size. It is 132 squares, which is why we are taking lots of time to make our blanket, right? So all you guys out there, ladies and gentlemen making your blankets, keep sending me pictures, whether you tag me on Instagram or send me an email. You guys are fantastic. You are making beautiful things, and I've got pictures I need to show you that people are sending to me of stuff that they're making, from their spider stitch blankets to blankets that they're making on their own with the variegated yarn, and to making squares. I've got to do a video just on that. So I am feeling a little rough around the edges today. My infection, I've got two, one in a tooth here and one in a tooth here. This one is the worst, and the infection is getting worse before it gets better, which is how it usually happens with me. I'm in a lot of pain right here on this side. It is very tender and it is swollen, and it's giving me quite a bit of a headache. So, but I just wanted to show you guys the squares that I have done since I saw you last. I just counted them up. I did 39 squares since I've seen you last. All right. The color Easter Basket from Karen Jumbo. I've done 2 patchwork squares, 2 granny squares, and 2 corner to corner squares. Right? I love the corner to corner square is my favorite out of these 3. Because the granny square and the patchwork is fine. The granny square looks a little busy, but the corner to corner, I think, shows off this color really well. Okay. I have worked up this really good color from Red Heart Super Saver called Melonberry. They don't make anymore. I've done a granny square, which is perfect. I've done a patchwork square. And I've done a corner to corner square. So that's 3 more squares. That's 9. Just trust me when I tell you there's 39 of them, because I've already counted them. I worked with the color Butterfly from Red Heart Super Saver. Now this one is a very busy color. I've done 1, 2, 3 patchwork squares, 1 granny square, and 2 corner to corner squares. It's a very busy color, but I still enjoy it. This is Sunset Print from Red Heart Super Saver. This is a vintage color from the late 90s or the early 2000s. I forget what the label says. So I've got 2 patchwork squares out of that, 2 granny squares out of it, and it's a bit stiff since it was manufactured years ago. It does have a bit of a scratchy, stiff texture to it. And there is the corner to corners. Wow, those colors, they are bright. Bright, I tell you. This is called Holland. It's from Loops and Threads Impeccable from Michaels, but they don't make this anymore. It's a discontinued color. I made 5 patchwork squares, and this yarn is so squishy. It is so soft. I love it. There is 2 granny squares and 2 corner to corner squares. Alright, now I've got this random ball of yarn that I think came from my mom's stash many, many years ago. I had 2 big giant round things of this. It is a bit older. It has no yarn label. I don't know what it is or where it's from. It is a bit scratchy in texture, but I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patchwork squares out of it, 2 granny squares, and then I did soak these in warm water with conditioner to soften them up. And then later on that day, I had done 2 corner to corner squares. So those are the squares I have made since I've seen you last. Okay. So what would you like to do today? Would you like to sit and crochet today? If my battery holds out, I will go grab a ball of yarn. I will grab my hook, and maybe we can sit on the couch while my husband's working away on his laptop, and let's crochet today. Let's keep it nice and simple today. Maybe what I normally do when I sit down to crochet, I do 2 patchwork squares, I do 2 granny squares, and then 2 corner to corner squares. So let's do that. Yeah, all right, hold on 1 second. Okay, my friends, I am using Red Heart Super Saver in the color called Aspen Print. Very earth tones, very light shades of earth tones. There's tan and brown and blue and green in there. Hopefully that color's coming through. I have you sitting in a very weird angle in opposition to the windows in the house. This is so awkward. But it's the best way for you to sit and crochet with me. So I'm starting out with my patchwork square. Chain 15, working the 13th chain of half double crochets, so I have 13 half double crochets, chain 2 and turn, and I do 9 rows. My hook is an F, or 3.75 millimeter. And my friends, I'm feeling very rough around the edges these last couple days. I just want to sit and crochet today. And I took my microphone off, so I'm using the microphone that's built into the camera, so you might hear the ceiling fan. The cord for the microphone gets in my way. Someday I'm going to crochet it into a square. I'm liking the way that the aspirin print is working up. I like those shades of blue and green in there. I'm always pleasantly surprised when I work with a new color and how it looks in a square. You know, I don't think there's one color that I've been unhappy with. That noise was Arlo jumping on the table. Okay, that should be row 7. I usually have a good idea of where I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, row 7. And I go up to row 9. But there we go. There is my first patchwork square for today. Alright, let's measure it. Make sure that handy dandy tape measure, right? Yeah, I'm a smidge higher than 3.5 inches. Yeah, this one's almost perfectly square. It's 3.5 inches this way, and just a little over 3.5 inches this way. Not quite 3 3/4, but so I'm going to stop the camera. I'm going to make a second one, and then we'll go on and make some granny squares, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, friends, 2 patchwork squares are done. Alright, now I'm switching hooks, and we're going to make a granny square. Now, granny squares are so very much crocheting, right? Granny squares have been around since what? The 1800s? Something like that. We all make them a little differently. So this is not necessarily a tutorial, but this is just how Jenny does things. So, slip knot on my hook, and hook size, I am at a G or a 4.25 millimeter, and you know the G can also be a 4 millimeter or a 4.5 millimeter. It has different sizes in different companies, different countries. There's a slip knot, right? Alright, I'm going to chain 4. I'm going to slip stitch in chain number 1 to create a little circle. And little's a good word for it. Alright, so I'm going to chain 3. This chain 3 acts as my first double crochet. Alright, and then we're going to do a double crochet in that little ring or that little circle that we created by doing a chain 4. Alright, there's my first one. It gets a little fiddly. This is the hardest part. I'm going to do another double crochet. I'm going to chain 2. And I'm going to do 3 double crochets. Then I'm going to chain 2. 3 double crochets again. 2, 3, chain 2. And 3 more double crochets, and I am crocheting over my yarn tail. It's the one time you'll see me do it automatically is when I'm doing the center of a granny square. Okay, after these 3 double crochets, I turn it and I check on my corners, because the chain 2 is a corner, chain 2 is a corner, and there's my 3rd corner. Got 1 more to make. You chain 2, and this is where everybody does it a little differently. I slip stitch my way to the corner. I do a slip stitch in the top of the double crochet, slip stitch in the top of that double crochet, slip stitch in the chain 2 corner. That, my friends, is the beginning of a granny square. I will always slip stitch to the corner, do a chain 3, do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. I will always do that to start the corner and to start the round. And these granny squares that I'm using with the variegated yarn, they are 3 rounds of granny and 1 round of single crochet to finish it off. Okay, so there's my first corner made on round 2. I do a single not a single crochet, sorry, chain 1, because we work the granny into that chain 1 on the next round. And now we're back to a corner. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in that chain 2 space. And that's your next corner made. So like your first 2 or 3 rounds, it's all about making your corners. And you chain 1, go to your next corner, that chain 2 space, do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. That's my next corner made. Chain 1, go to my last corner. I'm going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Chain 1. Okay, so when I get to my first corner and I want to slip stitch, you can do a slip stitch into or in between the chain 3 and your first double crochet, or you can slip stitch in the top of the chain 3. That's fine. And then you slip stitch in the double crochet, slip stitch into double crochet, and then slip stitch into the chain 2 space. Sometimes I skip that chain 3 altogether and I don't slip stitch into it, but sometimes I do. All depends on my mood, because it doesn't change the look of the square. Alright, so this is going to be round 3. Chain 3, 2 double crochets in that chain 2 space. I'm going to chain 2 to create the next corner, and then 3 double crochets, chain 1, and now here is my chain 1 from the row before, right? And I'm going to work the granny cluster in there. It is 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space, and then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm to the next corner where I do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Easy peasy. I find this square almost as relaxing as the patchwork square. And I say almost only because that first round, when you're working into the little ring of 4 chains that you slip stitch them together, it's a bit fiddly. So almost as much fun as the patchwork square. Okay, I'm back to my next corner. Chain 1, work in the chain 1 from the row before, do a granny cluster. You'll always have a chain 1 before your granny cluster and after, unless you're working in a corner. That's 3 double crochets, chain 2. Hello.
I have to give him my keys because he left them at his mom's house, and I went to his mom's house to get Popeye's coupons, and he forgot to grab his keys.
Okay, so I'm back to my corner. Alright, I am slip stitching in the top of that chain 3, slip stitching in the double crochet, slip stitching in the next double crochet, and slip stitching into the corner. Okay, there's my little square. Now we're going to do 1 round of single crochet to finish it off. It just it helps create a nice firm edge for when we go to stitch them together, or if we want to put black on there to edge them. Okay, so for this I do a chain 2. This chain 2x is my first single crochet, and then I'm going to do another single crochet and another. I want 3 single crochets in each corner. Okay, and then I'm going to single crochet in the top of each double crochet across. There's 1, 2, 3, and then I'm at a chain 1 space. I'm going to single crochet into chain 1 space. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. The next chain 1 space, that's 8. 3 more double crochets to the corner. 9, 10, 11. All right, so I'm at the corner, so 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then in each stitch across. So a single crochet in each double, a single crochet in each chain 1 space until you get to the corner, and you do 3 single crochets in the corner. There's my corner. I go 1, 2, 3.
What's up?
Okay, so the noise you can hear. We have guinea pigs, and anytime they hear anybody crinkling a bag, they think it's time for some lettuce. So you can hear the guinea pig squeaking. Had a kid that came home. I've got one that's probably streaming on the internet right now. My husband's sitting behind you with his laptop working from home. Lots of normal household noise today. Alright, so when I get to the end of the round where all my slip stitching is in order to get to the corner, I do a single crochet in that first slip stitch. And it gets a little fiddly because sometimes I make my slip stitches very tight. But I just force my hook through there and get these single crochets into the slip stitches. Yeah, you see that one doesn't want to go through. Alright. And that one I did loose enough. There's all my single crochets, and I slip stitch into that chain 2 at the beginning, acts as my first single crochet, and then I chain 1, and then that's it, and I fasten it off. It's all done. Easy peasy. So, 3 rounds of a granny, 1 round of single crochet. Makes for an awesome square, doesn't it? Yeah, I know, I'm at a weird angle. I know. So I'm going to go ahead and make another one, and just be quiet and keep my thoughts to myself. This is a relaxing kind of day, and it's just a sit down and crochet along with me kind of day. There is something buzzing around my head. We have to fix that screen out in the kitchen. Polly, what is that buzzing around my head?
Oh, it's a regular old house fly.
Awesome sauce. Sorry, friends. I have my kitchen door open today, and our screen door has a nice big giant hole in it, and the bugs like to come in. Gotta turn the camera off, let it cool off for a minute. Okay, so you guys ready to make a corner to corner square? So this is not a full-on tutorial, it's just what I do and how I do it. Slip knot on my hook. Alright, chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You do 3 double crochets, right? In chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. Okay, and you skip chain 4, 5, and 6. So what's that? 1, 2, 3. In the 4th chain from the hook, do your first double crochet. Do a double crochet in the next chain. Do a double crochet in that last chain. So you wind up with a little block, kind of like the grannies, where there are 3 double crochets in each chain, and then chain 3 that acts as your turning chain, and you've got the start of your corner to corner square. Okay, so where you're sitting at right here, you actually have to chain 6. So you're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to come back down and do those 3 double crochets again. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now, you have to turn your work. That first block, you have to flip it up. So now you're seeing the back side of it with the chain 3, and you're going to slip stitch. When you're done slip stitching, you're going to go chain 3, and then you're going to do 3 double crochets in that chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. So now, row 1 is this block. Row 2 are these 2 blocks here. Ah, it looks like a little heart. I'm going to go up to row 6, which will have 6 blocks, okay? So, now I'm going to do another increase. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chains. I'm going to do 3 double crochets in a chain, in the 3 chains. Sorry, it's hard because like the 3 double crochets don't go into the same chain, they just go consecutively. Alright, now I'm going to flip up my work. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that. Corner to corner is not easy to teach. It took me a long time. Red Heart had done a pattern. It was a corner to corner blanket years and years and years ago. It was a written pattern, and I worked through it dozens of times until I could figure it out and make it make sense. But once I got the hang of it, there was no going back. But it's not an easy technique to teach. So for those of you out there who know how to do corner to corner, I only work up to row 6 with the increases, and then I decrease after that, and it makes a nice little 4.5 inch square. Okay, so that was the 3rd row. So not a full tutorial, because you need to know the basics of crocheting. Just how I do what I do. Of course, this is completely the wrong angle to be learning how to do things anyway, so you just have to listen to the words and see if it makes sense to you. I'm going to see if there is somebody out there on the internet or on YouTube that has made a tutorial on how to do corner to corner. Because I learned the old school way by reading a pattern and working it, and then getting it wrong, ripping it out, doing it again and again and again and again. I did not have a video to teach me how to do anything. That was my 4th row. And you can count your little blocks to let you know what row you're on. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks going in this direction. and I have 4 going up in this direction, and I have 4 on the diagonal that look like little steps. That lets you know that you're on row 4. Now I'm going to increase again. This is where I go out with 6 chains. Because that's how you do your increases, is by doing 6 chains and starting a whole new block, flipping your work and connecting this block to the others by creating a little step. Okay, that was row 5. Alright, row 6, my last increase. 6. Okay, that was row 6. So when you sit it like this, you can tell I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks going this way. I got 6 going this way, and I've got 6 going across this little step here. Looks like a little pyramid, right? Alright, so this is where you decrease. I chain 1, and I turn everything, okay? So now I'm working on the back side. I slip stitch just like I did in the granny square. I slip stitch at the top of this double crochet, slip stitch in the next one, and then I slip stitch into the chain 3 space. So this way I'm not adding blocks to keep going, I'm now taking a block away. So I chain 3, work 3 double crochet into the chain 3 space, and that was my first decrease. So when I'm done this row, even though it is row 7, there will only be 5 blocks on row 7. Okay, and also see, because I have these blocks sitting here, right? They get in my way when I'm crocheting, so they kind of tuck in, and they're underneath of my hand. The thing is, some people don't straighten that out, and they actually lose track of where they're at, so they'll stop with a block and turn it, and then they have this here. So they start decreasing too soon, or they accidentally go beyond that. So it's always a good idea when you're working a corner to corner square, even if you're making it bigger than just a square like this, to occasionally open up your hands and take a look and see where you're at, so you know that you're still working the right amount of blocks. Because I've seen somebody who actually stopped short, and she was so frustrated with herself. So when I get to the end here of row 7, and I slip stitch into here, right, we're going to turn it, and it gets a little fiddly again, but then we slip stitch across the top of those stitches to get to the chain 3 space, and that's the other half of our decrease done. So you see, corner to corner, it's not easy to teach. I find it very difficult to teach. So a full-on tutorial for this, it might have to wait until after I have my dental work done. Where are you going?
Chase's.
Oh, okay. I just saw Avery today.
I'm gonna go see Chase right now.
I saw Avery in traffic today. Have fun.
Bye-bye.
Teenagers, right? Because even I lose track. So row 7 has 5 blocks. That means row 8 has 4. Right? Row 9 has 3. Row 10 has 2. And row 11 has 1. Oh, you know what I should do? I should write it out. I should draw a little chart on a piece of paper. That might be helpful. I wonder if somebody else has already done that. But I do like making the corner to corner squares because I'm about the texture. It's just like with the spider stitch blanket. I love the texture that it makes. It creates these little dips and these little valleys because of the way the 3 double crochets are. They kind of puff out a little bit, you know, creating like a little bubble. And when you keep turning your work and flipping it over and going on the diagonal, some of them will puff out on the back and some of them will puff out on the front. So I love that texture. And I love how quickly they work up. I think this one takes a bit more time than the granny square and the patchwork square. Yeah, the timer on my camera is saying 13 minutes, so it might take a little longer, but I love the effect. Okay, last row and last block. I've got one more block to make right there, and then we will have ourselves a corner to corner square. Okay, there is a corner to corner square. So I've been sitting on the floor while I've been doing this, and my butt's getting sore. So I'm going to move up to the couch. I'm going to make one more corner to corner square, and we'll come back and chat. Okay, my friends, I'm done crocheting. I am tired. I think it's time for a nap. Yeah, 52 years old. I will take a nap if I want to take a nap. Okay, so I'm liking this color, Aspen Print. I'm liking the muted shades of the earth tones. Yeah, let my camera focus. I know I got to stop moving. I like them. It's pretty. This came from my mom's stash of yarn. So I have 2 patchwork squares. Yep. 2 granny squares. Hopefully you guys sat down and crocheted with me. And 2 very complicated corner to corner squares. Yeah, I mean, it takes a bit to get the hang of this one. It really does. It's not, I don't find it easy to teach, that's for sure. Okay, so that's about all I have the energy for today. I would like to do a video with a yarn haul, because even though I've already had variegated yarn that I'm trying to use up in my stash, I've been finding some new colors out at the store and on eBay. So I've been buying some variegated yarn. I'd like to do a video of a yarn haul. I think that would be fun. And then I don't know what's next. I just do what I want when I want. Okay. I hope you guys had some fun crocheting along with me today. So I will catch you guys later, and remember, keep being your awesome selves, okay? Because I love you guys, and I will see you when I'm got a little bit more pep in my step. All right, bye.